What's up, e-bike fans? In this video, we have some more news coming out about the Lectric 2.0. I got some Q&A that I got answered for myself, and from some of the questions that you guys had actually sent in, I was able to go ahead and send out a questionnaire or an email to Lectric XP to find out some more information about the 2.0. And then along the way, this past week, we have some of these big time YouTubers that are actually now posting videos of them actually in possession of some borrowed 2.0s that actually had the 1.0, and they're giving their comparison. So I'll be going over just briefly some of the things that they've said about the 2.0. So those of you that have been waiting to get the 2.0, you'll get some more information about it, what's going on with some of these bikes. And if you have a 1.0 wondering, hey, maybe you might want to get a 2.0, that's kind of the position that I was in, why my questions came about. So that's some of the things I'll be answering in this video. And I also want to go to mention that the Ripcurrent juiced bikes came out with the Ripcurrent S Step-thru. It's a new bike that they just announced this past week. That's really exciting news because any of the big companies that are actually announcing new bikes, if I get an email for it, I'll take a look at it and just get all excited about, which is why this video is actually coming out as well. There's some other things about VanMoof using the Apple Find My tag thing that's going to be coming out as well, that they're integrating in their bikes, and some other things that we'll be covering with some e-bike news that's in the industry. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so the first thing I want to start off with is talking about the Lectric XP. This is the part 2 version, or the follow-up to my original post on the Lectric XP 2.0 announcement that they'd come out with. And so the first thing that started coming to mind is, well, how big of a difference are these 4.0 tires versus the 3.0? Because that seems to be the biggest thing people are focusing on, is that the tire sizes are smaller. So the one thing I wanted to know is, okay, if I were to get the new 2.0 bike and I had the 3-inch tires, could I actually take my 4.0 or 4-inch tires from my 1.0 bike and stick it on that 2.0 version and see, if it would work, so that I would get best of both worlds? The 4.0 tires with the suspension, everything else that's on there. And unfortunately, the question came answered as the fork that is on the bike for the 2.0 is made specifically to the 2.0 version. I mean, it basically sounded like it wasn't swappable. So that's something that I don't think can be done. So basically the answer that I got back was the front fork is only meant for the 2.0 and will not fit the other bike or the tires. So you cannot put the 4.0 tires on them. It's not going to fit. It's just a little thinner. And also they were talking about the fender and probably not fitting, from what I heard from somebody else on that. But it doesn't sound like you can actually even take the fork and stick it on the 1.0 bike. You wouldn't want to without the 4.4-inch tires. Anyway, that's pretty much where that stands. You get the 3-inch tires, and that's what you're going to be with on that. So the other thing is, how much performance difference is there between the 3-inch and the 4-inch tires? That was one thing I really wanted to know about as well, because I was thinking with 3-inch tires, you're going to actually have less friction on the road. And sure enough, Kev Central came out with a video that talked specifically about that. So if we scroll down on the Lectric website, I highly recommend anybody thinking about it to watch these 3 videos. These people here, they're not necessarily electric bike enthusiasts as much as maybe some of us are, or I'm passionate about it or obsessive about it. So they have their point of view from a enthusiast mindset, so they'll be able to explain that. But all 3 of these reviewers, and Kev Central is by all means one of the more hardcore enthusiasts, and he's passionate about his bikes. He knows specs, he knows the different rides on it, and he did mention right off that he liked the maneuverability of the 3.0 tires a lot. The other riders also said they had no issues with it, and some of the comments that I've been getting back saying that those who had 3-inch wide tires versus 4-inch don't really feel the difference. But the really big interesting thing about it was, well, I was kind of right about it, because it seems as though with the less friction that you get on a 3-inch tire, you're also getting greater range. So that was one of the complaints I had been hearing about the upgrade, was why did they upgrade the range of the battery? Well, because I honestly think it's because they kept the frame exactly the same, except for maybe the modification to make the fork hit, and then the bolts for the other attachments, they just kind of screw those on, but the frame is exactly the same. So the battery fits the same, which then one of my other questions was, can I use a 1.0 battery and interchange it with a 2.0. Say if I have both bikes and my other rider doesn't want to come with me, can I take their battery with me for get longer range on my own ride? And the answer is yes. You can actually interchange the batteries. If you get a 2.0 bike and you still have a 1.0, and one battery is not charged and the other is, you can use either battery in each of the bikes, which is really cool. That's a great thing, because some other bike companies that upgrade their bikes also upgrade the battery interfaces so that it doesn't work, and kind of you're left. That seems to be something that people want to have more of. They want to have battery interchangeability on that. So that's one thing that's really good for that. The other thing I asked as well, is this IP65 rating really a detriment on the 1.0? I mean, how much weather resistance did they make it so that it wasn't weather resistant at all? And I got back a definite. You want to cover, if you have a 1.0 bike, you definitely always want to cover your screen in the rain. It's not rated at anything for, which I had no idea of, so I'm glad I asked, because I didn't think it was going to be that sensitive. And it probably has a little bit of resistance to some rain, but they definitely said cover up your screens if you have a 1.0 bike, whereas the 2.0 you don't have to be as worried. But I would actually still recommend, if you're going to be riding out there and you are going to be in heavy rains, even an IP65 rating is very well sealed. You just want to keep in mind, you probably don't want to ride around a lot on an electric bike. There's other components that water could potentially reach into there. So that's just my opinion on that. But that was one of my other questions I had the comparison between the 1 and the 2.0. They said the height is going to be exactly the same with the bikes between the two. So that's another thing you don't have to worry about so much. And big thing is that a lot of you know, I actually do have the Zoom seat posts on my website on the ebikeproducts.com, which is the suspension seat post that fit perfectly and is made for basically any type of 31.6 millimeter bike. And so I was wondering, hey, is this bike going to be the same? And they did say the seat post is the same, which again is my other reasoning that they didn't change the frame much, but it is still a 31.6 millimeter. So by the way, selfish plug here, if you guys do need a Zoom seat post, I do sell it on the my ebikeproducts.com website. It is $29.95 at the time of this posting. I do have the red tops, and we will be getting the other ones in probably about a month or two. Supply chain issues are affecting even just the seat post, so it's going to be a little while longer for me to get those, but I do have red tops on there. And with that being said, when I'm talking about the Ebike product website, the longer 25 inch length handlebars now on the new ones actually do fit better for the cell phone holders that we are now carrying also as well. So as you can see in this picture here, at the top on the handlebars, they have a cell phone holder and a cell phone mounted on both of these bikes here. And these are the 2.0. So the cell phone holders that I am now actually showing, if you haven't seen that, that's in the previous video that I made earlier this week, showing that we are now carrying those. Those are selling for $14.95. It includes both the post and the cell phone holders include shipping and handling. So $14.95 is the price that you will pay for it, and then you don't have to worry about any shipping charges or taxes on that. We're covering all that as well in the prices there. So those are the main things that I'd asked about that. The other part that I had questions on that I didn't ask but I found the answer to was, can the bike be folded when you have both racks on it? Now, I believe you should have no problem folding the bike if you don't have the front rack and you do have the back rack on it. And I'm bringing that from my experience because I have a big crate that's attached similarly to the way that it's attached on this bike here. So what I did find was on the second video that's on the bottom of the website here from this guy's video here, if you watch his video and you go to about the 12-minute and 9-second mark, they did a folding demonstration of it, and his partner here on the backside tried to fold the bike up with the baskets, and you can see the baskets do actually interfere with getting the bike closed all the way up. So that answers that question there. I thought it might be something that would be kind of obvious when you have one of the 1.0s, you know, seeing that how it closes up, you'd be able to see that. But this is a great, they don't mention it specifically in this video that this is a problem or not, but you can see definitely that it does hit. One of the big things that we have been actually getting a lot of commentary about the 2.0s is the delivery time. That's going to be the #1 question I know I'm going to be getting on this. And I want to explain one thing about the Lectric e-bike company on their, from what I can tell, the delivery process, because when I ordered my 1.0, it seems to be a common theme with the 2.0s where people are saying, hey, they told me I got my confirmation that I'll be getting my bike in a week, it's going to be shipping out, and then a week later or 2 weeks later they still haven't gotten their bike yet and it hasn't even shipped. So here's one thing you need to know about the Lectric XP company and the way that they're actually sending these bike out, and it is just a workflow process. I really think they need to fix this. So if you're listening out there, Lectric, just know that this is something that you guys might want to be aware of that is upsetting a lot of customers. And I'm pretty sure you guys already know this because this seems to be, like I said, the common theme. The most comments I get about is the delivery issues that they're having with this bike here. And it is that you will get a notice that the bike is being shipped or ready to be shipped, and you should be getting it in a certain time frame, in a week or two, and then it doesn't get shipped out yet. So what I am guessing is happening, and I don't know if Lectric, if you're listening, if you can go ahead and confirm this, is when they get an order, to not hold up any process along the way as much as possible, they immediately go ahead and print out a shipping label. So one, it notifies FedEx that there is going to be a bike ready to go, but they don't actually have it ready. They don't, sometimes I'm guessing they don't even have it in the warehouse, because of when I got my notice and I asked about it, they said it was arriving soon or there was a delay in customs. So that kind of gave me an indicator that the order's here. Instead of having employees waiting around because the bikes are not around, they might as well get as much process as they can. So they'll print out all the labels and print out all the shipping arrangements that it's ready, probably get it all in order. So as soon as the bike comes in, all they do is grab it, slap it on the bike, on the box, and then it's ready to go. It's already ready. It's printed. They don't have any more delay because that process is already done. But when they print this label, it informs you as a customer that it's ready to be shipped when it's really not. So this is one of the issues that I've been seeing, that someone says, hey, it's going to be shipping next week, we'll see. And then after they get, well, it looks like I contacted them, it's not going to be ready for another 3 to 4 weeks. So the delays are still happening along the supply chain, and with the shipments coming in, the Long Beach ports are still really, really backed up, which I'm guessing where they're getting their bikes coming in from. It's supposedly a little better. They went from 20 waiting ships in the ocean, in the parking lot waiting to come into the port, to get to now like 18, which is to me still a lot of ships waiting, because they used to not have any, maybe 2 to 3 max when things were working before pre-COVID, right? So those are the things that you need to know about that. Some of the shipping delays will be evident and you will have to wait. I know some people are actually saying they're actually going to get another bike, pay a little more. Now, if it, my comment is, if it doesn't burn your pocketbook or hurt it to pick up a bike that's more expensive, to get one a little earlier, you're going to get, from what I'm seeing, you get what you pay for. If you're going to pay a little bit more, you're going to get a little more upgrades for it. And that's definitely true with most of the bikes that are out there, because to stay competitive, if you're a bike manufacturer, you're going to get hammered if you actually oversell a bike that doesn't have the quality people are expecting, because of so much talk about this growth in this industry. So that's what I'm seeing. If you're going to pay an extra $400 or $500, you're probably going to get, some higher quality and parts that are out there. And if you're willing to go ahead and spend that to get a better bike, to get it sooner, by all means, that's gonna make you a lot happier sooner, I guess, in that way. But other comment is that if you're willing to wait, once you get your bike, even if it is 2-3 months later, to be honest, I found that you pretty much forget about your frustrations about the wait once you get it. If you can be a little patient on that way, yes, I know it's rough. But if you can be a little patient on that way, once you get the bike, it's worth the wait, especially if that's all you can afford. I would not say don't extend yourself too much further. The bike will come. Spend the money that you have, that you can afford to spend. Don't go above and beyond overboard, and just keep in mind that you're going to have to wait. Now, if you wait a little longer and to make your purchase, I think what's going to happen is you're going to find that you're going to regret that. Honestly, I would say if you can afford it now, just go ahead and pay and wait. Because the reason being is that we're already seeing it. Those who waited, if they order now, if they had ordered it a few weeks ago, they would have probably been way more up in the queue, but the backup is getting larger. This bike is getting a lot of exposure, and I'm only going to guess it's only going to get more of it and exposure as summer is coming and people are going back to work. transportation seems to be rough. Things that happened in the East Coast with gas prices and everything going up, that's going to be an issue as well, where people are going to look for alternative ways to go ahead and get out to commute to work. Biking is a great way to do it. If you're close enough, this can actually get you there and, you know, charge it at work and get you home. And it's going to be an option, especially with the weather getting better. Like I said, you might as well order it now. Don't forget, for those of you who follow me for a while, I waited 9.5 months for my Blackbird, and I would definitely say it's worth the wait. It was frustrating, yes. Waiting for something that long is, in some cases, some people said ridiculous. But I love the bike. It's a great bike. And like I said, once you get on it and you're riding around, e-bikes have a way of making you forget your worries and your stresses and your frustrations once you get on it, as long as your bike is running good, right? So that's another thing. Lectric is a very reliable bike. And I honestly can tell you, I don't think you're going to regret it once you get it, and you will forget your frustrations. It will be frustrating. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say it's not going to be. I went through my frustrations as well. But that being said, enough of my ranting and preaching on that point. Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, the Ripcurrent S. So Juiced Bikes came out earlier this week with a YouTube video. What they claim, I guess, was live. It was really good editing. I mean, their marketing professionalism of their live demo was actually really good. It's the Ripcurrent S. Now, for those of you who don't know about the Ripcurrent S, or just know I like 750 fat tire bikes, especially 26 inches, 24 inches, it doesn't matter. Bigger fat tire bikes, full size bikes I really like. The only reason I focus in on Juiced is because the reputation of these bikes and how fast they go, plus the battery size, is well known in the industry. They have really powerful, fast bikes and large battery capacities. Things that everybody kind of wants on their bikes. Now, the only thing is, when I did a comparison, my first video out was a comparison video between the Rad Rover, the Juiced original step over Ripcurrent S, the Blackbird, and then also the Saunders bike. Most of the bikes were all too large, and that's one of the reasons why I just couldn't go with any of them. None of them actually had step-throughs at the time. Even the Blackbird, the only reason why I ended up with a Blackbird, even though it was a step over, because they came out with a 24-inch and a same powerful 750 motor. Now, I stick with going with 750 as the max power of the motor, mostly because of the fact that most legal limits out there right now at 750 is what they cap it at. Now, that's a nominal rating. The other thing about this Juiced bike that made it really intriguing is that it actually goes up to a 1300 watt max power, which is really amazing, all in all, going through that. Now, so you have this bike here. It's not only a step-through, it's a reinforced frame. It has a 52 volt battery, which that's why one of the reasons they can get to 50. The 52 volts is one of the reasons why I can get up to the 1300 watt max peak power. Various colors are also available. They have some really nice colors on these bikes as well. And it's just really fast. The other thing I really liked about the look of this, which I didn't talk a lot about on their demo video, was they have the handlebars that actually come up on our extended, which gives you a lot more in an upright position. For a fast bike, as aggressive as it is, to have handlebars like this, you can actually get the best of two worlds of a fast, powerful bike without so much of an aggressive stance, with still being able to sit up, because, you know, getting older, sometimes staying a little more upright is a lot more comfortable on longer rides. So you have that. Comes with this louder horn, front suspension, and it has all of the sweet elements of the original Ripcurrent S, but it's a step-through. And you know, the other video a couple of weeks ago, I came out with the Adventure bike, and that one again was another 750 step-through that they're coming out. So we're seeing this whole new trend of the step-through 750s and the bigger bikes that are coming out there. Rumor has it, I guess Kyle at Bolton E-Bikes has also mentioned, or not mentioned, but he's hinted that perhaps one day he might look into a Blackbird step-through as well. But, you know, as long as these take to go ahead and come out, that's probably not going to be for a while out there. So we have some great alternative bikes out there. $26.99 is a really good price. If you watch the video update that they had on this, it's their live that came out. Let's see if they have it here on their website. Hopefully they do. They don't seem to have it. I will find the link and have it in the description below of that live playback on it, because I wanted to do actually a kind of a reaction video. I see some other YouTubers do that because I had a lot of questions that came up after this bike had been come out. I was excited about it, but one of the main things that I don't care for it so much on their advertisement, not about the bike, but on their advertisement, is most of the demos that they had professionally made were actually all of women riding it, giving the impression that it is a woman's bike. And even though the owner of Juice Bikes during their live interview was talked about that, or saying that, hey, you know what, these bikes in the past were actually, the step-through versions were more like for feminine. They're no longer that way. For some reason, all their advertisements only show women showing it. So the good thing about their videos, I wonder if it's here. Maybe they have it on their video here where they had the live showing of it here. Yes, they do. They actually had some of their workers show up on and give demo rides on it while in the parking lot of the bike here. This guy's like 6 feet. And you'll notice the guys were a lot more aggressive at the way that they rode the bike. So I would highly recommend, again, I'll put this link in the video description below so you can check it out here. And oh, another thing is, I guess through the end of the month, if you do a pre-order and you use RCST, you get $100 off the Ripcurrent S step-through. I would suggest you go ahead and order it as soon as possible because this is going to be a really popular bike. Anybody who's looking for a power bike and a step-through version of it, the Venture was a good one. Venture was a good bike that you could consider. The Juiced with a 52-volt battery, I'm going to guess this can easily get to the low 30 mile per hour range on the high end. So it's something that you definitely want to consider. The other thing about the Juiced bikes, so just so you know, at $2,600, it might, for some people, say, hey, that's quite a bit, because you can get, like, you know, the Hemingway or, you know, a Rad Rover for the less than $2,000 range. Keep in mind, the Juiced bikes come also with a torque sensor on the cranks. And one thing, in addition to the torque sensor on these Juiced bikes, is that they have actually a dual sensor. It also has a pedal assist and a torque sensor. I don't know really how two would be an improvement over just having a torque sensor, because I mean, with the Blackbird bike, that's another reason why I decided I want to spend a little more on that bike, is because it had a torque sensor. The Adventure is only a pedal. It's just a cadence sensor. So because of that being just a cadence sensor, I don't know. I just can't imagine why both would be good. But just having a torque sensor in itself is a big deal. Once you get on a bike that has a torque sensor, it's very difficult to really accept that it's a better feeling on a bike for me anyway. With both of it there, what I can see with a torque sensor with the cadence together is that perhaps you can actually be pedaling at a slower pace, at a gear that would actually still keep the bike up without actually having any pressure on it. But with the power that's on that bike, and because that has a throttle on it, I don't know. It's got to be some benefit anyway, but it's worth the $26.99. All of it combined. The battery size, huge, is a big difference. A 70+ mile an hour range. Now, Torfan, the owner, was asked a question: will it get somebody to work and back if they have a 30-mile commute one way? And he did say in a way that it would, but I would highly recommend somebody, if you're going to go with the 30 or 40 mile range to work one way, to bring your charger with you and juice it up, and not expect the bike to possibly get you all the way home unless you're going to be at pedal assist 1 all the way. Now, he did also mention that the thing about a torque sensor is that it also does save on some of the battery. So where you get a longer distance because of that, because of the way that if you're using a lower pedal assist and you're actually assisting it more, that you'll get it. But, you know, depending on how fast you ride these things, you just really got to keep in mind that most companies will overstate a lot of their ranges. And to say that it could go 60 miles, that someone could commute back and forth to and from home, is a little questionable. I'm going to just say, I'm not saying that he's incorrect in that, because possibly you could do it and it would be something, but it's a little, I mean, if you have hills on or you're a heavier rider, that's going to definitely affect your range as well. So keep that in mind. But their batteries are huge. That's another thing you want to keep in mind. Now, because I said, if you ever watch the males that are riding this bike versus the females that he had on there, you're definitely going to see the aggressive. I highly recommend, actually, again, watching that video. It's a lot of fun to see what they did. They talked about the accessories as well. This bike does come fully loaded with, you know, the fenders, the headlight. Comes with a really loud horn as well, and also it's an alarm. It's also built in with the alarm from what I could tell on they were talking about the demonstration. So the horn is not the only thing that was one thing that's a little disappointing is that the rear light to me was not integrated with the main battery. He said it was so that it's a safety feature in case your battery dies, that the tail light would not work well because if it was integrated, but because it's a separate battery it would be on. But the thing is, if your tail light dies and you don't have a spare battery, then you basically would be without some safety feature of your tail light being there. So I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that in that part, but you know, that's just my opinion on that as well. Again, it's a great bike. I think Juice makes some great bikes out there. Something you might want to check out as well. I don't know how long it'll take for you to get one of them. You know, I mean, it seems as though it's going to be, they're saying that mid-June is when they're expected to ship out. So if you're in the market for a bike, a fast one, a step-through, this is one that you might want to take a look at and consider. So that's it about the Ripcurrent bike. The next thing I want to talk about is this VanMoof article that came out that says they are using the Apple's Find My service, integrating into their bikes, so that you can find your bike, which is actually pretty cool. If you have an Apple phone now and it works anything like the Apple tags, then you can suspect if someone takes your bike, you'd be able to get your phone out, turn it on, and if anybody is with an iPhone is within range of your bike, you'd be able to kind of locate it pretty quick. I think it's one of the best solutions out there, and I honestly think this might be a new trend that people will be integrating on the higher end bikes into their bikes in itself, integrated into maybe a controller or whatever it might be, that can actually hide it very well. Kind of like having an Apple tag that's actually built into the bike. It's going to be pretty awesome, and something that, you know, we might actually want to keep an eye out, but it's really cool that people are using that type of service, and hats off to Apple for coming out with a great device that utilizes their network so well. The next thing I want to talk about is another bike that's kind of an innovation here is the Cowboy. This is like, I always want to look for new bikes that are out there or new brands, and this, you know, they've been out for a while, but I haven't heard much about them. But this is a bike that's come out, and what caught my eye was the sleek design of this bike. This is really nice, and it, you know, comes with a carbon fiber drivetrain on that, and they have a step-through version as well. And I'm very curious about if anybody out there has actually seen, ridden, or any comments about these bikes, because I don't know. I just think new innovation styles and design look really cool. I honestly also think that maybe if I start adding some of my accessories, it might ruin the look there. But the thing about this bike is it integrates your cell phone and an app into it. So with that being said, I don't know if that's even going to be an issue with any more accessories needing to be added. I don't know how a rack would be on the back, because that seems to be something that everybody's going to be needing more and more as people are transitioning to using e-bikes as their main transportation. But as you can see here, this is just a really sleek looking bike. Even the brakes and the cell phone mounting, I mean, it comes at a price tag of about €24.90, which I think estimated at about $3,050 as the USD conversion. But anyway, this is just one thing I wanted to point out. New bikes that coming out, new styles. Cowboy, this brand, if you've heard of it, is coming out with a fancy new frame, like as they're claiming it here, and more torque. So that's pretty cool out there. And the last thing I just wanted to come up with was those of you who are wondering, can you get a good exercise or workout with an e-bike? And you know, there are a lot of these articles out there, and they've all said yes, you can. And for those of you who are e-bike owners, you're going to be wondering, rolling your eyes, probably saying, of course you get a good workout, because you know, there are times you're going to be pedaling. I mean, that's just the way it is. But for the most part, if you're out there, to get exercise, all you have to do is kind of turn down the motor and you'll get your exercise. And this is a call out to actually those who criticize it, that's call it cheating. My sister always says, and she's been reluctant to try my bike, and I think it's because she might actually be afraid to realize that it's more fun than cheating. But the whole fact of the matter is, on my e-bikes, whenever I finish riding, I'm always sweating. I like to ride, even on the Lectric XP, where I throttle a lot, because, you know, but when you want to go faster, you know, the pedaling just makes it just more beneficial, all in all, to go ahead and get your pickup on your speed, to help the motor out. You also don't want to I mean, to be honest, to throttle all the time, you got to watch out how much you're using of your amperage or your current that's flowing to the battery itself. I mean, to the motor itself from your battery, because you don't want to burn out your motors. it's just one of those things. Yes, you can get a New York Times put out this article and they talk about that as well. But you know, if you search, can you get a workout with e-bikes? Hands down, you're going to find out, yes, you can. And in some cases, they are the same. People are getting more exercise out of e-bikes because they go further and they go faster and it's a lot more fun. And they just actually encourage them to get out. So one of the big mental things about getting on the bike is that, you know, if you're not one who is really inclined to like exercising, but you know how fun your bike is going to be, because if you do get tired and you just don't feel like exercising, you'll still get a ride out of it. The thing is, unconsciously, you'll still be getting some more exercise because you're off the couch, you're moving around, you're going to have to pedal sometime sooner or later, and you're going to get some just being outdoors rather than sitting on the couch doing nothing. So I'm telling you, yes, you can get a good e-bike exercise. And if there's anybody who's contesting that, again, the link is below. You can send in this article. It'll talk about that as well. So just know you can do it. And for all of you who are, you know, currently riding your e-bikes, I encourage you to ride safe. If you like this type of videos, give it a thumbs up. You know, I wasn't expecting to do a news video so soon, but they're so much fun. And, you know, I have other videos in queue that I'm making, but they take so much more time that this is kind of my my squirrel. I get distracted and I just, you know, I want to go ahead and get these out there. So it's a lot easier for me to do that. So like and subscribe to the videos or this channel for more information on that. I do have reviews on the Peddle Element coming up, and also a ride over Step-thru that I was able to rent those bikes out at the Cambria Electric Bike Company. I rented it for days. Got some reviews ready to go on that. Also, don't forget, if you go to ebikes.com, we have the cell phone holders and the Zoom seat posts. The Zoom seat posts are 31.6 millimeters. They are guaranteed to fit the Lectric XP 1.0 and 2.0. And right now we have the red tops. They are at $29.95. That includes shipping and handling and taxes. Everything's included. That's what you get it for. They will be shipped out within 1 to 3 day USPS mail. So you'll get it pretty quickly. These as well are on the website, $14.95. Again, shipping is already including plus your taxes. And if you're interested in what this actually does, you can check out the video I made last week on this, on the cell phone holder, one of the best ones, I believe. Oh, by the way, those of you who are getting these, thank you so much for your purchases. We are going to, you know, send me if you can send me some of your pictures and your usage and some testimonials of it, that'd be fantastic. You can reach me at info@ebikeproducts.com. You know, I'm thinking maybe if we get enough of them, maybe we'll go ahead and do a contest and giveaways for those who actually submit reviews, comments, pictures. Again, that's info@ebikeproducts.com. Submit them there. We'd love to hear, even on the Zoom post too. Actually, let's do 2 contests. Let's make this right now. We're going to do 2 contests. You know, if you like these shirts that I wear, these are always on my videos. These are the Bamboo Boxer company t-shirts, pocket tees. My opinion, the best shirts to be wearing when you're out there riding around because of the pocket accessory that's here. Plus, they're really nice, high quality cotton. These are actually assembled together in Hawaii from local Hawaii employees. So you help support the economy. If you don't know, COVID did a really big number on the tourism industry around the world. Hawaii was greatly impacted by it. So this supports local people there from Hawaii. So I, you know, highly encourage that. You can see these shirts at bambooboxerco.com. So that's bambooboxerco.com. And you can get these shirts there as well. But I'm giving away, I will give these away. We'll do a drawing for those that submit reviews on the Zoom suspension seat posts, and one shirt also for somebody who submits for, or people who submit for these. We'll gather them up with, you know, maybe about, let's give a date at the end of the month on 5/30. I'll go ahead and collect all the reviews. We'll do a drawing, and, you know, some lucky winner of the reviewer will get one of these shirts for those as well. Thank you again. If you are not a subscriber to the newsletter, you can also subscribe to the ebikeproducts.com newsletter. Go to ebikeproducts.com/newsletter and sign up there. And I will be posting, you know, contests and things that we have coming up as well. I promise I won't spam you with things other than new promotions and perhaps videos. That's what newsletters are for, right? So thank you again for watching. I really appreciate all the comments, all of the engagement, all of the positive support that I get from you guys. It keeps this channel so exciting, so much fun to do. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.